stories in Nigeria. I am Olajumoke Olatunji. With less than 39 days to the conduct of the 2023 general election, INEC continues to suffer attacks on its facilities across Nigeria, while political parties and their candidates are intensifying campaigns and preparations for the polls. APC Presidential Campaign Council has called for the arrest, the immediate arrest, prosecution and disqualification of PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar over alleged corruption. The police in Osun State have warned political thugs it will not condone any act of violence as the 2023 general election approaches. And on the interview segment for today, we will be discussing politics in Enugu State, Southeast Nigeria, with the governorship candidate of the African Action Alliance, AAC, Raykin Obodo, as well as Southeastern Insecurity and the disagreements between IPOB and Governor Soludo on Nnamdi Kanu with public interest and human rights lawyer in Ibehe Efyong. Welcome to Politics Tonight. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. The Presidential Campaign Council of the All Progressives Congress, APC, has called for the immediate arrest, prosecution and disqualification of the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Atiku Abubakar, over alleged corrupt practices and breaching the code of conduct. The council was reacting to allegations that he operated special purpose vehicle while serving as vice president of Nigeria.
There was an allegation that time Dariye had just been jailed over this matter. And I'm sure you all know that one of the counts preferred against Governor, what happened was that there was an allegation that time Dariye had just been jailed over this matter. And I'm sure you all know that one of the counts preferred against Governor Dariye was this 100 million. And that was why he was jailed. That was why Dariye was jailed. Now he provided the evidence to say that marine flood was actually the cover that they used, because Dariye took money directly from the coffers of Plateau State and paid to marine flood. That was why he was jailed. Now we know that this money actually found its way back to Atiku Abubakar and his boss, but they used people as front to siphon these monies and so many others. There were other two companies that he did not mention, but he mentioned marine floats. From the oral account of the whistleblower, the voice notes and all other supporting documents, he has committed possibly offenses against the Code of Conduct for Public Offices. 2, subsection 2 of 10, for the purposes of subsection 1 of this section, the receipt by a public officer of any gift or benefit from commercial firms, business enterprises or persons who have contract with government, shall be presumed to have been received in contravention of the said subsection 1 of this section, unless the contrary is proved. There are also offenses against the Money Laundering Act, money laundering law here.
Meanwhile, the PDP is yet to react to that development. The pioneer chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Malam Nuhu Ribadu, has urged chieftains of the All Progressives Congress, APC, in Adamawa State to put behind their withdrew the court case against the APC governorship candidate in the state. Senator Aishatu Binani stated that the task before the party supporters is working for the victory of all candidates in the 2023 general election. Secretary of the party and other party faithful thanked him for the visit and promised to deliver all the candidates in the elections. We do apologize for that. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has lamented Nigeria's rising poverty rate. Obi, who spoke at the Chatham House in London, claims that the country has overtaken India as the poverty capital of the world. According to World Bank's 2018 figures, the Labour Party standard bearer spoke on a number of issues, including Nigeria's economy and the country's debt profile, which he says has been worsened by large-scale oil theft. Obi, who also claimed that small number of politicians is holding Nigeria captive for selfish interest, added that the country is faced with an alarming insecurity level that has led to the loss of many lives and property, as well as a significant decline in food and economic output. The Commissioner of Police in Enugu State, Ahmed Amani, has ordered investigation and manhunt for the suspected hoodlums who attempted to set ablaze the Independent National Electoral Commission facility. In a statement by the State Public Police Officer, Daniel Ndukwe, the CP disclosed that in the operation, INEC National Commissioner in charge of Information and Voter Education, Festus Okoye, also stated that while one officer was killed, another sustained injuries and is receiving treatment. Okoye also noted that the attackers could not gain access to the main building as a result of the rapid response from security operators. According to INEC, the incident is under investigation by security agencies, and the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security in the state has been convened to discuss the latest incident and map out strategies to protect INEC officers, personnel, and materials. The statement noted that the Commission is proceeding with its preparations for the general election as scheduled. Let's take a short break, and when we return, it will be time to speak with a public interest and human rights lawyer in Behe Effiong on Southeast Insecurity and the disagreements between IPOB and Governor Soludo on Nnamdi Kanu. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
In the month of January 2023, the 4th of January is dedicated to World Braille Day to celebrate the inventor Louis Braille. On 6th January, it will be 2 years when U.S. Capitol was attacked by the then President Donald Trump supporters. On 8th January 2020, Ukraine International Airline Flight 752 was shut down shortly after takeoff. 15th January is the Armed Forces Remembrance Day, which marks the end of the Civil War in 1970. 24th January is International Education Day. On 27th January, it will be 21 years after the Ikeja cantonment blast occurred. 29th January is World Leprosy Day, observed to create awareness on the disease. Stay tuned to TVC News as we serve you with reports and analyses on these notable events.
So, all in favor say aye. Those against no, the ayes have it.
What do you know about the legislature, its role in governance, and as one of the three arms of government? Lagos Parliament is here to bring it to you as it is. Here to bring you every detail you need to know about the legislature in Africa's most populous city. On Lagos Parliament, you get a chance to meet the lawmaker of the week. Events are critically reviewed. You can also observe plenary in Yoruba language. I am Abimbola Agbebi. Join me every Friday at 9 p.m. as I take you through the activities of the legislature.
Welcome back. You're still watching Politics Tonight, digging beyond the headlines. And now to our interview with the guest of the day. I am now joined by the public interest and human rights lawyer, Behe Effiong. We're talking about Southeast insecurity and the disagreements between IPOB and Governor Soludo on Nnamdi Kanu. Thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's get straight to business. Governor Soludo has called on the federal government to release the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, to him. Any legal implication to this?
The answer is no. What Mr. Soludo said is entirely political. It is without any legal consequence. The first point to even make is that by virtue of his position, virtue to his side, he's not even eligible to stand as a shorty for anybody in Nigeria. That is because under Section 308 of the Constitution, a governor has immunity, not only from prosecution, not only from civil action. When you look at the language of Section 308, it is very expansive to the extent that any person that is entitled to immunity under that section, the law says no process of court can be issued that is capable of compelling the appearance of that person. Now, what is shorty? If someone is arraigned in court, let us assume that before we even get to whether there is even a basis for, his proposition or not. When someone is arraigned in court and that person is admitted to bail, the court requires that person to produce a shorty for someone to enter into recognizance. Now, in the event that that person jumps bail or violates the term of his bail, and the court is to issue a warrant for the arrest of that person, the court can require the shorty to issue cause, to show cause why the sum that the person has entered into recognizance should not be forfeited to the federal government or to the state government as the case may be. In another instance, the court can even require that person to come to court to explain the appearance of that person. So technically speaking, because of the implications of the immunity clause, a governor is not someone that is capable of standing as a shorty for any person in law. It is simply not possible, because that will entail that he has to go to court, he post to an affidavit, sign bail bond and all that. What happens if Nnamdi Kanu does not attend court? Can the governor be compelled to produce him? The answer is no. So what Soludo said was just a political statement. But the question is, to stand shorty for what exactly? Because as of today, as I'm speaking to you, there is no charge known to law in any court in Nigeria, to my knowledge, that Nnamdi Kanu is facing. The charge that he was facing before the Honorable Justice Nyako has been declared a nullity, has been set aside by the Court of Appeal in a unanimous judgment. And the court even said the federal government cannot try him for any offense whatsoever because of the issue of extraordinary rendition. Therefore, as of today, there is no charge in law that Nnamdi Kanu is facing. What has happened is that after the Court of Appeal had given the judgment last October, the federal government applied for a stay, which the court in its wisdom granted, even though some of us have, some jurisprudential difficulties, explaining that judgment. But that is the ruling. That is the ruling of the court, staying that judgment, which Nnamdi Kanu has appealed to the Supreme Court. But as of today, the law remains that Nnamdi Kanu is not facing any trial, cannot face any trial, and cannot be arraigned in any court. So you cannot stand shorty for someone that is not standing trial. So for me, what he said was just a political statement, which is not out of place. If the federal government believes that dialogue is a solution to the crisis in the Southeast, that political solution can resolve the agitation that we are seeing, the IPOB agitation, why not? The governor can advocate for his unconditional release. But beyond that, as I said, there is a pending and subsisting judgment of the Court of Appeal, even though same has been stayed, that Nnamdi Kanu ought not to face trial. For me, what is important is that the government, the federal government, should examine the issue dispassionately. If you have a situation where in the last 7 to 8 years, we have seen members of Boko Haram that have slaughtered what Boko Haram has done to grant them, to make them eligible for amnesty, compared to what IPOB is doing, why are we having double standard? But on the other hand, I am among those Nigerians who believe that violence is not the solution. Therefore, while we are also calling for, dialogue and all that, we must make it very clear that sit at home is not acceptable, that nobody has the right to disrupt the electoral process, that nobody has the right to burn INEC offices or public facilities, while also calling on the federal government to be dispassionate. Regarding what Soludo has said, as I have already explained, we should take it for what it is, because in the first place, it was at a political rally that he made this statement. And you and I know that when it comes to times like this, politicians in Nigeria can say anything, and that is exactly what Governor Soludo did.
All right,
he knows how to have access to the president.
Yes, you call it a political statement, but then Governor Soludo said Kanu is critical to the security situation in the Southeast and is needed for any discussion for the future of the region. Will you say this can actually guarantee peace in that region?
I don't believe that Soludo is serious about what he's saying. Again, I want to emphasize that it was a political statement. As I have already underscored, legally and constitutionally, he's not eligible to even be a shorty. And secondly, there is no basis for anybody, whether governor or whatsoever, to even say he wants to be a shorty, because there is no charge that Nnamdi Kanu is facing. But I do agree with him on one point, that if we are going to resolve the crisis in the Southeast, there has to be some form of conversation. Because what has become clear over the last few years is that the militarization of the Southeast, the python has danced and has failed. The rhythms of the python has not resulted in peace. Rather, what we are seeing is increased militarization, the killing of innocent citizens, the burning of the properties of private citizens and public facilities. So to resolve that, it is therefore important and imperative for the federal government to explore dialogue. As that today, it is quite regrettable that there is no evidence that the current federal government of President Muhammad Buhari is even interested in talking to them. There is no evidence, but we have seen clearly how the federal government has treated the issue of the herdsmen. We have seen how the federal government has treated the issue of Boko Haram. Any sincere person can see a departure. On the one breed, we see the government being very, look at the killing that is going on in the North Central. Just about last night or so, we saw how a reverend father was burned to death. People are being killed, are being attacked all over the place. We do not see the kind of emotion. The problem is not even about dialogue. It's not even about trial in any court. It is about the fact that there is a clear bias, there is a clear prejudice on the part of the federal government. That is what has made it almost impossible for this crisis to be resolved. Because if the federal government is dispassionate, we will see a uniform approach to addressing.
All right, so what then is the way out of all of this?
It looks like the way out is for us to wait for Buhari to leave office. I am not optimistic that anything is going to change between now and May 29, 2023. But I want the federal government to prove me wrong. But if the last 7 years is anything to go by, it will be false hope for anybody to believe that the Buhari government is going to resolve the madness that is going on, the insecurity that is going on across the country. The government has clearly proven itself incapable, incompetent. The service chief have not been fired. People have not been held accountable. What we are seeing is nepotism, and that is not how to address a crisis of this nature. When people are claiming that you are victimizing them, you have to talk to them, you have to engage them. Where that fails, you now employ the might of the government and the might of the state. But as that today, there is clearly no willingness on the part of this federal government to engage in any form of fruitful negotiation.
All right.
Why are they still holding on to Nnamdi Kanu? If they are saying that if they release him, there will be consequences. Are they saying that Nnamdi Kanu's movement cannot be monitored, that his activities cannot be monitored? Before this issue even became this terrible, when Nnamdi Kanu was still going about holding rallies and so on, it was not this bad. They were only disrupting traffic and all that. It was when he was taken into custody, the military went to... No, at that today, nobody can even kiss, because the Igbos are the major victims now. We have seen prominent people from the Southeast region being slaughtered. We have seen public facilities, schools, and so on being destroyed. The Igbos are the victims, the major victims of the crisis in the Southeast. That is why
Governor Soludo said he has inaugurated the Truth, Justice and Peace Committee in Anambra State to get to the root cause of insecurity in the Southeast. To what extent can this help? To what extent can this help to solve all of this crisis?
It is not out of place, but it's not going to result in anything tangible. I'm saying that because the matter has gone beyond the governor. It is a matter that only the federal government can resolve. It is just like saying that a governor in the Niger Delta state, say, example, my home state, Akwa Ibom, or Delta or Rivers, during the Niger Delta militancy, could have resolved the militancy in the region by constituting a Truth and Reconciliation Commission. This matter is not domesticated to Anambra. The whole Southeast region is under militarization, is under criminality. Criminals have taken over the entire region. So it is not something that one governor can resolve. In any event, does the governor have any power to regulate the military? Look at the answers. When the Lagos state government set up a panel of inquiry, this is a good example, and they made recommendations. Has the federal government shown any willingness to hold any soldier accountable? You cannot have a Truth and Reconciliation Commission without the ability to bring justice to bear. If the Lagos example is anything to go by, it is a clear evidence that Soludo is wasting his time. Because if we are going to have Truth and Reconciliation, the military must also be held accountable for the slaughter of people in the region. Who is going to hold the military accountable? It is not the state government. Who is going to hold the police accountable? It is not Soludo. It has to take the federal government. As I've told you, Buhari has clearly made it clear to all Nigerians that is not interested in doing that. So the best bet for us is for us to wait for this government to leave office and hope that the next government will take the matter more seriously.
Politics Tonight. Thank you very much, Mr. Inibehe Effiong, for coming on Politics Tonight as we discuss Southeastern security and the disagreement between IPOB and Governor Soludo on Nnamdi Kanu. Thank you for being a part of the program.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Those were his views anyway, and not the views of TVC. But then let's take a short break, and when we return, it will be time to speak with the governorship candidates of the African Action Alliance, Ray Kene Obodo. Stay with us.
Information is power, information is security, information is knowledge. On Labor Lens, we believe that working people around the world have real questions of their own. They want to know how the world of work operates, what it means to the employer of labor, how policies affect workers in the workplace. On Labor Lens, I ensure we engage effectively the organized labor, organized private sector, and government to get out of them information workers are in need of. I am Sharon Ijason, asking questions that make you get sense of the workplace.
TVC News first with breaking news.
We cover the big political stories in Nigeria, but people want more than just politics.
Business news, sports naturally, but you need news to live by also.
Stories about education, health, personal finance, and hey, even lifestyle news.
Newspaper reviews, travel news, and much more.
Nigeria, it's more than just politics. It's life.
Start your day with us every weekday.
TVC News Breakfast. First, fast, balanced, and accurate.
TVC News first with breaking news.
It's not a regular show. It's an online interactive session where we share my views on the everyday issues that cut across politics, security, health, current affairs, governance, and so much more. I am passionate about our country. I choose to support any conversation geared towards building a better Nigeria. I am Babajide Kolade Otitoju. Join me every Saturday on TVC News YouTube channel as I discuss Nigeria and the world issues with Jide.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen materials slabbed, stroked, and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Business lives on the fast track of numbers. Business is a strange world where low numbers means something different. And its currency are speed and time. Finding the open doors of Main Street is not just good business, it's the start of the business. Join us every weekend on Business Week.
Our planet, our home, threatened by man's activities with fears of mass extinction on the rise. On Green Angle, we examine the issues that affect our environment, seek solutions to put us on track to secure and restore a cleaner and greener world for generations to come.
Welcome back to Politics Tonight, and I'm being joined now by the governorship candidate of the African Action Alliance, Ray Kene Ogbodo. Politics. We're talking about politics in Enugu State, Southeast Nigeria. Thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much.
All right. It's less than 39 days to the conduct of the 2023 election. How is the preparation going for your party?
Thank you for that question. I think the preparation for our party is going well. We have been working since the primaries, doing some underground jobs, galvanizing people, and trying to get people on board. Obviously, we have a different strategy for our election, and we have been working. We recently launched our town hall meeting when we unveiled our manifesto, and we have kickstarted the campaign, and we're going to take it to the streets to be able to galvanize the people of Enugu and tell them the importance of maybe changing hands from the People's Democratic Party to a party that can salvage the people from the mess that the PDP has caused in the state.
You're still talking about preparation. How ready is your party for the election proper, given that the AAC is not one of the big parties in the country?
Yes, I agree with you. AAC is not one of the big parties in the country, but what makes the big party is the people that makes the big party. There is too much suffering in the land. There is people are dying and languishing in abject poverty of the mind, the body, and the pocket. So it depends on whether the people realize what is going on and they want to shift. They can make the biggest party in Nigeria that we are sending out to for Enugu people. So if they get the message, that is fine and good. But if they don't get the message, if they want to continue to do what they are doing, continue to stay with the people that has been that has plunged the economy of Enugu State and Nigeria, they can continue to do that, and we continue to suffer. So our party is actually maybe getting into the mainstream in the media, in the streets, and we are building and galvanizing people, building structure all over the country.
Yeah, because you say people make big parties. So what surprises should we expect from your party regarding the elections?
Come again?
What surprises should we expect from your party regarding the elections?
The surprises?
Yes.
It's not about surprises. You don't win an election by surprises. It's not like maybe a gift you want to give to people. It's about the strategy that we have. It's about galvanizing the people coming on our own side, and they understand that we, African Action Congress, is the party that will salvage the Nigerians. Is the party that puts the people first. Not the parties of hijackers, not the parties of cronies, not the everyday politicians that belongs to all those older parties. We are not out of touch, because first in African Action Congress Party or APGA or whatever you call them, they are the same people. We are coming to salvage our people. Need a better life. They need a decent life, so that because the issues of happening in the state, in the country, the issue of insecurity, the issue of poverty, the issue of hopelessness, the issue of healthcare, the issue of technological problems, the issue of infrastructures can be tackled head-on.
When I say surprises, I'm talking about the fact that many Nigerians are looking forward to a third force taking over from the likes of the APC, the PDP. Are you saying your party is not yet ready for that?
When we talk about this third force, it is something of a perception. Yes, people are expecting a third force taking over our party. Is ever ready for anything, but it depends on the people as well. And the things are changing in the politics. Our party want to be in the forefront, and our party is galvanizing. So it's not about, like I said, it's not about surprises, because politics is not about surprises, it's about permutations, how it works and how it pans out. What does people want? What does people like? Who do they like? A lot of people on the street, if you meet them, they will tell you that this 2023 is not about party, but it's about individuals. It's about people who have the capacity.
Mr. Ring?
Do the job.
All right. You call yourself a better option for Enugu State. Tell us more about your 5-point agenda.
Yes. Our agenda is something that we call we tag hope, training and prosperity. Prosperity is the P, which is we want to spread the wealth, not maybe keeping it into the hands into few people. We want to make sure that from 1st June 2023, if we win the election, we start paying 50,000 minimum wage. That is what I'm assuring people of Enugu State. And from the 50,000 minimum wage, we want to get it to 100,000 within a 4 years period. We want to start testing the workers from 50,000. And it can't be done because the money is there. Don't get it, don't take it from anybody who's going to tell you that there's no money. There's to E. E is education. We want to enable people in primary school be able to give grants and loans so that people can have a less burden of what they do. Or from a typical remote village where there is no pipe on, no electricity, far right and in the far end, I also have stayed in a mega city and I have experienced a lot of things. Then we're going to go to S, which is the security. We want to give good security because when you tackle the issue of healthcare, you give people healthcare and you guarantee that they can actually go to hospital without maybe being overcharged and the facilities are there. Create opportunities that is for everybody. Then you give quality education. Then the menace in terms of the bad securities will start coming down because a lot of people who are in abject poverty are taking succor in insecurities and they cause becoming hoodlums, unknown gunmen, or whether you call it hanging as if to say maybe they are people of. Don't even know who is IPOB and who is not IPOB. We don't know who is Oduduwa, who is Yoruba Nation's agitation. We don't know who is Herdsmen and who is not Herdsmen. So because of poverty and because of a lot of things that is happening, everything is mixed and is causing a lot of issues in the polity of Nigeria. All
right, let's dissect these promises one after the other. Enugu State has an unemployment rate of 31.62%. How do you intend to address this if you get elected?
Thank you. We want to tackle the issue of unemployment heads on by bringing what we call an apprenticeship program to the teeming youth and the young ones in terms of where people learn on the job. We're going to do that, by supporting the employers so that they can be able to take employees in terms of the youth, so people learn on the job. Then we'll be able to meet the employers halfway. So with that scheme, things can actually maybe begin to work well. So when people do this apprenticeship, it can be an 18 months apprenticeship, 36 months apprenticeship, which is like 3 years. Then you learn on the job, you'll be getting small money paid, which is also equivalent for you to be able to get along in life. And when you finish learning it, then you can be employed and you can be able to start something on for yourself as well. We also want to revamp, invest in agriculture, invest in technology. We want to make sure that the tourism sector really works in Enugu State because we want to create a better environment, bring foreign direct investment so that people can actually come and invest in Enugu so that business can thrive. So we can do those things by also showing the people the way because we're going to be giving transparent leadership to the people of Enugu State because what we currently have now is leaders that are not transparent and they are not in the front. But we want to come in and they give people, show the people hope. People are living in hopelessness. So we show them hope and we show them that we can lead and they can understand it and they will be in a digital form so that they can see what is happening.
All right. You have blamed bad governance and poor economic growth and development as responsible for high rate of poverty in Enugu State. How do you intend to tackle this?
The way to tackle it is to be sincere and honest to myself, to show transparency, and for me to be able to show that I'm a resourceful person. It's not just about the resources, it's about you being resourceful. It's about you being willing to do that. Because when you come into leadership, if you come with open hands, because the major problem is that it's not that the people who are in governance in Enugu State, who are the so-called leaders in Enugu State, it's not per se that they are bad people, but because they have learned the bad way of leadership. They are brought up in a kind of a system that is so corrupt and that is so bad. So they don't know any other way. So they are half-baked leaders. But those of us, we practice leadership, as a strategy and management consultant, I understand what leadership entails. And this is what we want to give Enugu State people by being able to listen to the people, being able to work with people who have the capacity, who has the courage, who has the compassion to be able to look at the people. Because politics is about serving the people, politics is about helping the people, not your individual pockets, not the pockets of your cronies, but the pockets of the individual so that people can get along in life. Because the moment you are in politics and you are not helping the poor, you are cannot sleep with their two eyes closed.
You're a management consultant, and like I said earlier, Enugu State has a high rate of poverty. How then do you intend to increase the IGR of your state?
One way of increasing the IGR of the state is like what I said.
Are you there? Can you hear me, Mr. Ray?
In agriculture, the internal generated revenue that goes a long way in helping people generate it. Because when people talk about it, it's just big grammar. Sometimes it's a, yeah. Can you?
Please go ahead.
Yeah. So when we talk about the internally generated revenue, let us break it down for the common man. Because when we use this word, some people doesn't understand. Internally generated revenue is about taxation. That is how government gets money. So sometimes, if you don't really invest in new things, if you don't bring new businesses, then we have to think about maybe taxing the existing businesses more in terms of maybe increasing the rates. But this is not what we want to do because people are already being taxed a lot. So what we want to do is to make sure that this money that is generated is judiciously used for the people, for the purpose, for what it is meant for. And if it is used and there is accountability, there is transparency, and it is very clear, because we are not coming to governance to come and they loot the public treasury, because this is what has been happening since 1999 from one government to another. Somebody finished as a governorship is paraded by EFCC, and at the end of the day, they might do a plea bargain or something like that. From 1999 till date, the people who are there, they are just maybe basically recycled politicians. They have no good mind, no good intention for the people. And it's not just because maybe they don't do, because they are brought up in a wrong system. And we want to correct that system to make sure that we'll be able to give people what belongs to them. We are not coming into government. If we win the election, we are not coming with too much over. Because we are not the ones, who are being accused of that we spend maybe 20 billion or 10 billion or 6 billion in buying our primaries or something like that. We don't have godfathers or all those cabals, all those cronies that we have to settle in government. So we're going to be coming out on a clean slate to be able to help the people. So what we are doing is to come and serve the people. The people, we are accountable to the people and not cronies, not godfatherism. With that as well, it costs a lot of wastages, it costs a lot of expenses, and we put that money back to the people. We put the money into the healthcare, we put the money into education, we put the money into spreading the wealth by uplifting the minimum wage to 50,000 and they work towards 100,000 within a 4 years period. If the people of Enugu State gives me the mandate to lead Enugu State, because I am qualified, in terms of leading Enugu State to the better land, not to the 21st century. They are so analog leaders, and we want to make sure people can actually live before they die.
So Ray, another very interesting thing about your agenda is that you promised to pay state workers 50,000 naira from the 1st of June 2023 if eventually you get elected. How do you intend to achieve this, considering the poor state of the Nigerian economy?
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, you can call Nigerian economy poor state. Well, what caused the poor state is because people has been siphoning and they stealing Nigerians' money, including the Enugu State money. So now, because we're not going to engage in stealing, we're not going to engage in graft, we're not going to engage in all those things. The money that meant for the people has to be used for the people. Because I don't see a situation whereby if you're a senator, if you're a House of Reps or House of Assembly, you have access to buy big cars or big houses. get ordinary 50,000 as a minimum wage in a month. This 50,000, you know, is not more, is less than what people spend in a sitting when they are having lunch, or maybe they're having dinner, or maybe if you go to a nightclub, or maybe if you go for a dinner. But this is 50,000, an ordinary Enugu person, or that needs maybe in a 1 month. 1 month is 30 days. Just think about it. And there are a lot of people, you know, if you consider the overheads, you know, so it's just about, you need to think about the benefit for the people, the good for the people, not just maybe your pocket. We need to spread this wealth. Let us spread this wealth, you know, and make the world, you know, a better place, make Enugu State a better place, because it is concentrated in just few people, and it is not their money. It is stolen money, and it's not good. I wonder how those guys, you know, how they sleep at night. It is disheartening and very concerning. I don't know, they don't think about it, but it's not their fault, because they are in a corrupt system. They are leader in the bad way, but we are coming.
All right, let's get to some political issue in your state now. The governor of Enugu State is one of the G5 within the PDP. Do you, as a politician, do you see this as an advantage for the AAC to gain some grounds?
In politics, everything can work in your favor. Everything is an advantage. They are G5. They are playing politics. Sometimes they appear confused. Sometimes they don't know what they are doing. But they might have a game plan. But as things is evolving, you know, we can be seeing what they're having. Because the main thing is that they are just maybe doing A, B, and C or something like that. They don't really have a purpose. Because those G5, you know, they are a bunch of the same recycled politicians, you know, who has been messing this country up. So, but for some reason, you get what I mean, they get disappointed from what happened in the PDP, and now they decided to look for a different way, which is a very good thing for other parties as well, because it's showing Nigerians that those politicians, those recycled and out of touch politicians, that the only thing that they want, the only thing that they need is about their pocket, is about their interest, but not the interest of the other people. You know, because at the end of the day, during the run-up of the presidential PDP presidential election, or even APC, we see a lot of issues. We see a lot of things. You know, it was hiring corrupt system that they used to bring whoever is their presidential this thing. But it is the act of God that is making the likes of the group for Wike that is leading now to be exposing them one after the other for the betterment of the poor masses, the people who are who have no voice, the people who doesn't have anybody to speak for them. So it's actually maybe an act of God that is happening. So it's not Wike that is just maybe doing it. Those people that is also following him, it's not them that is doing it. So something that is saying something that things is about to change, and that tsunami that is coming is going to consume most of those recycled and the out of touch politicians. We need to start moving out so that Nigerian can actually maybe start to live, because there is too much of mess in the system, and the people are angry, people are frustrated, and people are not happy.
All right. On one hand, there is also, you know, the rising popularity of the presidential candidate of Labour Party, Peter Obi, in the Southeast, and we also have an addition to threats by the PDP and the APC. How is the AAC contending with this?
No, anyone who says rising popularity of Peter Obi is not causing an issue in Nigerian politics doesn't know, probably maybe the person is not saying the truth. And it's a good thing, you know, because actually his candidacy has come to a kind of dismantle a little bit of this so-called APC and PDP, and people kind of are seeing that there are things that need to do, and that is also helping our own political party, AAC. How? Because now people, can you hear me? Yes. People can actually say that, okay, it's not just APC, it's not just PDP, there is Labour. Now they know about NMPP, they know about AAC, they know about PRP or whatever, they know about AA, you know, because our party is the African Action Congress, you know. So with that, you know, people are actually seeing you. So when people see you, because before in Enugu State, they will always claim that the Enugu is one party system, it is PDP and nothing else. But now, you know, when they're actually trying to say that, they shape their mouth. Some of them are quite maybe shy in saying it. They don't say it with arrogance, because a lot of people in PDP who are brought up in the wrong way in this corrupt system in the presidential, so they're kind of confused. So it's making people to actually see that there is more to politics than just maybe political parties. So people are talking about individual. In my state, we are gaining momentum in our party, and the people are telling me we're not voting party, we're voting the individual. We're looking at the individual who is credible, who is competent, who has compassion, who has the ability to serve, who is dynamic and who is experienced, and who is not brought up in the wrong system of governance and the wrong system. So that is what is helping us. And we are just at the moment, when we move with motion, and when we move, you're gonna know that we're actually doing it. We have done the groundworks and everything. We're gonna start unleashing in a few weeks' time.
I would also like you to tell us more about the alliance between your party, the AAC, and PRP regarding adopting your presidential candidate, Omoyele Sowore. Can you hear me, Mr. Ray? I'd like you to tell us the alliance between your party, AAC, and PRP, and that's regarding adopting the presidential candidate, Omoyele Sowore.
I think there is an alliance of, who are the, let's make things clear, there is PRP, owners of PRP, that are the people that did the alliance with our party, and because they don't have a presidential candidate in their own camp, in their own faction, because they have a different PRP, which Kola Abiola is their presidential candidate. But this original PRP, who are the owners of PRP, look at what is going on, and they see that the AAC has the same ideology, has the same things that matches, that relates to what they are saying in their own party, and decided to have an alliance in terms of supporting our presidential candidate, because they don't have any presidential candidate in their own party. So they have their factional PRP, and I think they are grassroots politicians as well. They are everywhere in the whole countries, and it's going to help AAC as well in terms of cementing and in terms of maybe growing our support base. So that is what is happening today. They had they did them in Kanu. I'm sure maybe you followed it. Our presidential candidate was in Kanu today. He's still in Kanu anyway, because I believe so. So it's quite something that is a very good thing, because in politics is about numbers, is about collaboration, not so much of competition. You can do alliance with whoever you can, if you think maybe because it should be to serve the people. If you think that what you are doing is going to be to the benefit in terms of maybe serving the people, then you look at it, if it falls into your ideology, then it is a very good thing to do, because it is better to come together to defeat those cabals and those cronies and those people who are embezzling and siphoning Nigerian money and give it back to the people who it actually belongs to.
Hey, but PRP has a presidential candidate, Kola Abiola. How do you reconcile that?
Yeah, I just explained to you that the section of the people that the PRP has a faction. So the people that we have done alliance with, African Action Congress, is a PRP vanguard, not the one that Kola Abiola belongs to.
All right.
So they are a bit different. They are PRP and they are original owners of the PRP. But some people came into PRP and they did things differently, and they kind of hijacked PRP. But the other people said, no, we are not giving in. And they ended up saying, no, we're not going to support Kola Abiola because he is not our man. He doesn't belong to us. He doesn't have the same ideology with us. Then we're going to look for another party that has the same ideology, that can be able to salvage Nigeria from this menace, from what is going on. That is why they look at it, and they also look at our presidential candidate, who is Omoyele Sowore, and they believe that is somebody that they can adopt and they can work with, because he is a fighter. He is a human rights activist. He is an activist, a dogged man, an indefatigable man. And he is doing his own the way he is doing it. Those of us are political strategists. He is a political activist. So we do things differently as well.
All right,
we
then.
belong to the same Congress.
All right, finally, before we go, let's talk about INEC's preparation for the election. How will you rate it in a few seconds, Mr. Ray?
I think I will rate INEC preparation average. They are doing what they can, but a lot of things are missing. But it's good that they have been able to extend the collection of voters' card, but it's still quite poor because a lot of people might have forgotten that they have registered. But we're trying to galvanize and trying to publicize so that people can go and collect their voters' card. But the INEC is making a mistake which they need to correct. And if our party and if we win the election in this 2023, we must correct it. People shouldn't have a reason. There shouldn't be any reason why you register and vote for an election, and it will take like maybe 6 months or 1 year or 8 months for you to come back to come and correct voters' card. It should be issued there and there. Whether it is in laminated, whether it is in that thing they are doing, I don't see any reason because they are taking people's fingers.
All right, Mr. Ray.
Taking people's social distance. They said they're gonna do.
Thank you. Sadly, we're out of time. Thank you very much for coming on Politics Tonight. I've been speaking with the governorship candidate of the African Action Alliance, Mr. Ray Kene Obodo, who was speaking about politics in Enugu State and his governorship ambition. Thank you very much for coming on Politics Tonight. Sorry, we're out of time.
Congress, not alliance.
Oh, and thank you very much for watching. That marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But the conversation continues from here. Get in touch with us on Twitter at TVC News NG and at Olajumoke using the hashtag Politics Tonight. We're also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Join us for a repeat episode at midnight and tomorrow for another edition of Politics Tonight. I am Olajumoke Olatunji. Goodbye.
Mission.
Yes, but how?
Just one question. How do you keep your toilet clean?
I use regular detergent and bleach for washing and removing yellow stains. I have been using it for years.
Oh, madam, the regular detergents and bleach are used for washing clothes.
To disinfect your toilet, you need Harpic 10X. It is specially made for germs and stains removal. Harpic sticker formula settles on stains and gives 10 times better cleaning.
Wow! Now I'm convinced, Helen Paul.
Really?
Yeah.
The next house is yours.
And layered with different levels of impact.
Hello. What time did this happen? We will be right there.